Have you ever tried to use your phone in the middle of winter while wearing warm gloves, and suddenly the screen acts like you do not exist? You tap, you swipe, you press really hard, but absolutely nothing happens. Why does a cold, flat piece of glass care if your hands are covered? How does it know the difference between your bare thumb and a piece of wool? In this video, you will learn exactly how your smartphone screen performs this everyday magic. You will learn why your body is basically a giant human battery, how an invisible grid is tracking your every move, and why a single drop of water makes your phone go completely crazy. To understand the amazing glass in your pocket right now, we have to travel back in time for just a minute. If you are old enough, you might remember the very first touchscreens. Think of the screen on an old airplane television, an old GPS in a car, or an old Nintendo DS gaming console. When you touched those screens, you had to push down hard. Sometimes you even had to use a plastic pen called a stylus. Those old screens were called resistive touchscreens, and they worked exactly like a sandwich. Imagine two pieces of bread. The top piece of bread is a flexible, soft plastic. The bottom piece is hard glass. Both pieces are painted with a clear metallic paint that carries electricity, but there is a tiny gap of air between them. They are not touching. When you push your finger down on the top plastic layer, it bends. It squishes downward until it physically touches the bottom glass layer. When the two metallic layers kiss, the electricity connects. The computer feels that connection and says, aha, someone is pushing down in the top right corner. But there was a massive problem with the squishy sandwich screens. Because they had so many layers of plastic and metal, they looked terrible. The screen was blurry and dark. Plus, they could only feel one finger at a time. If you tried to use two fingers, the computer would get completely confused. Then the modern smartphone was invented and it changed everything. We got rid of the squishy plastic. We moved to pure, hard, crystal clear glass. But wait, you cannot squish solid glass. So how does it feel your touch? The secret to modern touchscreens is not pressure. The screen does not care how hard you push. The secret is electricity, specifically the electricity inside you. You might not realize it, but the human body is an amazing conductor of electricity. We are mostly made of water and salt. This makes us the perfect vehicle for electrical energy. Have you ever walked across a fuzzy carpet in your socks, touched a metal door handle, and zap, you get a painful shock? That happens because your body is holding a static electrical charge. You are walking around like a giant fleshy battery. Modern smartphones use this exact science. They are called capacitive touchscreens. The word capacitive just means it can hold an electrical charge. Instead of a squishy sandwich, your phone screen is a solid piece of hard glass. But right underneath that glass, printed so incredibly thin that your eyes cannot see it, is a massive grid of microscopic wires. Imagine a checkerboard or a spiderweb made of microscopic metal threads. When your phone is turned on, the battery sends a very low, perfectly safe amount of electricity into this invisible spiderweb. The entire screen is buzzing with a steady, quiet electrical field. But here is the part most people get completely wrong. You probably think your phone detects your finger pushing down on the glass, right? Or maybe you think the screen senses the heat of your skin. Wrong, it is a massive myth. The screen does not feel pressure and it does not feel body heat. In reality, your phone is watching you steal from it. Remember how the invisible spiderweb is holding a steady electrical charge, and remember how your body is a giant conductor. When you bring your bare finger very close to the glass, even just barely touching it, you disrupt the spiderweb. Because your finger can hold electricity, it actually sucks up a tiny, tiny fraction of the electric charge from the screen. You are literally stealing electricity from your phone. Think of dipping a dry sponge into a perfectly flat bowl of water. The moment the sponge touches the surface, it sucks up a little bit of water. The water level in that exact spot drops. Your finger is the sponge. The invisible grid under the glass is the water. The moment your finger touches the glass, it steals a tiny bit of energy. The microchip inside your phone is watching the entire grid millions of times a second. It instantly notices that electricity is missing from one exact coordinate on the grid. It says, alert, the electricity dropped at row 15, column 4. The human must be touching there. And then it opens your app. Because the phone is just looking for stolen electricity on a grid, it fixed the biggest problem of the old squishy screens. It allowed for multi-touch. When Steve Jobs first introduced the iPhone in 2007, he showed off a feature that blew everyone's minds. He opened a photograph, put two fingers on the screen, and spread them apart. The photo zoomed in. Today, we do this every single day without thinking. But back then, it was pure magic. How does it work? Simple. The spiderweb grid is so smart and so detailed, It can easily watch your thumb steal electricity from the bottom left corner, while your index finger steals electricity from the top right corner. The phone's brain easily tracks both sponges at the same time as they slide across the glass. Now that you know your phone is just looking for stolen electricity, you can finally understand the two biggest enemies of your smartphone. First, winter gloves. Why does the screen ignore you when you wear gloves? Because winter gloves are made of wool, cotton, or leather. In physics, these materials are called insulators. An insulator is a wall that blocks electricity. When you wear a glove, you put a thick wall between the electric spiderweb and your fleshy human battery. The electricity cannot flow into your finger. Because you cannot steal the charge, the phone thinks nothing is there. It is like trying to soak up water with a sponge wrapped in plastic. Nothing happens. Pro tip, those special touchscreen gloves you can buy simply have a tiny silver wire woven into the fingertip to carry the electricity through the fabric. Second, water. Have you ever tried to text while walking in the rain, or right after washing the dishes? The phone goes completely crazy. Apps open on their own, the keyboard types random letters, and it refuses to scroll. Why? Because water conducts electricity just like your body. When a fat raindrop falls onto your screen, that raindrop steals a little bit of electricity from the invisible grid. The phone's brain panics. It thinks that raindrop is a tiny human finger pressing the screen. If you have 10 raindrops on your screen, your phone thinks 10 different fingers are tapping wildly all over the glass. So there you have it. Every time you scroll through social media or tap a video, you are not actually pushing buttons. You are using your body as a human battery to absorb microscopic amounts of electricity from an invisible electric spiderweb. Science is amazing. I want you to try a practical experiment today to prove this to yourself. We are going to make a homemade smartphone stylus using the science you just learned. Go to your kitchen and get a regular plastic pen and a small piece of aluminum foil. Wrap the aluminum foil tightly around the pen. Now hold the pen so your bare skin is touching the foil. Try to scroll on your phone with the foil tip. It will work perfectly. Why? Because the aluminum foil is metal, and metal is a great conductor. The electricity travels from the phone screen up the foil and straight into your hand. You built an electrical bridge. Now try holding the pen without touching the foil. The bridge is broken and the screen will not react at all. If you loved figuring out the everyday magic hiding right in your pocket, hit that subscribe button right now. We explain the modern world in simple terms every single week. Subscribing tells the YouTube algorithm that you want to get smarter, and it helps our community grow. Before you click away, leave a comment below. What is the most annoying time your touchscreen completely failed you? Was it trying to change a song with wet hands in the shower? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Do you want to learn more knowledge? Click the video on your screen right now to find out. See you over there.